Hey guys, welcome back to this video or audio if you're listening to this on my iPhone app or my Android app. Now today is obviously this being released on Christmas Day, and every year I like to just take a bit of time out to get you to consider some new thoughts as we close up this year and enter a whole new one. Now for me personally, it's been one of the most challenging, exciting and evolving year of my life. And simply because I've done many things and I've invested as much as I can in my time and also financially in creating as much free self-development as possible. And that has been a personal, not a struggle, but it's been a great challenge for me to kind of really step up my game. And I really hope that you've enjoyed the free audio. Now, recently in the last few months, I've been doing at least one video every week and usually two these days, or like twice a week. As well as that, I've invested a lot of financial, or my income ultimately, into developing new free programs for you. So I do really hope you're enjoying it. And it's something that I do want to carry on doing. And it does mean that my work will have to eventually grow to keep investing, because obviously it's just one of those things. And I'm happy to continue investing my own money in doing that, because I live a very like kind of lifestyle which is just very simplistic. I don't need much really. So what I want to talk about today is really about allowing you to move forward into this next year. The first thing we have to realize, if we didn't achieve our goals or if we've made what we perceive as failures, to realize let's just learn from them. You see, if you can learn from maybe an issue that you have or a goal that you didn't quite achieve as well as you wanted to, it's okay now. Be at peace that it hasn't happened yet. And ask the question, what do you need to learn, which once learned from will allow you to move forward and get this goal that you desire? To be aware that life is life, life happens, things come up, and it's not always going to be easy. Let's see it as a challenge. Let's see if some obstacles that we can overcome and grow because of them. So if you haven't quite achieved your goals this year, that's fine. What can we learn from it? What can we do to get better in every way? And then the next thing we need to understand is our level of focus. Because usually we focus on the things that we don't want. Well, I don't want to be more in debt. I don't want another bad relationship. I don't want another bad situation in my job, or whatever it may be. Now is the time, especially this time of year, it is something that I personally do. I want to focus on what I want. What are my goals for this coming year? What can I learn from? And where has my focus been? And where can I continue to put my focus in the positive? Because if it's in the positive in my mind, I'm telling my unconscious mind, this is where I'm heading. I like to think the conscious mind is the goal setter and our unconscious mind is the goal getter. So the quality of our focus will be the type of quality of results that we acquire in our life. So I like to ask myself a question, where has my focus been and where can I redirect that focus if I need to? Maybe I need to amplify that focus. Maybe I need to take responsibility for where I am and say, look, I didn't maybe quite push myself hard enough this year. What else can I do? Or how can I continue to think about my life in a way which is one of love, gratitude, happiness, excitement, and really thriving off life? So consider the quality of thoughts that you're having right now. And if they weren't completely great, fine, let it go and allow this year where we're heading to be one full of the right focus for you. Remember, the quality of your focus will be the quality of your results. Now, as we move into the year and consider our focus and our goals for that matter, be aware that sometimes we can self-sabotage ourselves. So maybe you didn't quite get your goals this year because there was a sense of self-sabotage. And you'll probably know the answer to that in a sense of if it's true or not, if you'd have self-sabotage. But if you did, I want you to consider why that may have been the case. Now, for me personally, all self-sabotage is like the body, the unconscious mind saying, look, I don't think you quite want this, or you haven't thought it through enough. Say, for example, you wanted to be a celebrity, you can maybe just think of, well, I'm going to get all the fame, all the money, and everything like that. But what we forget to realize, for every goal that we go for, there's going to be a sense, or there's going to be a drawback or a limitation in the very nature of getting that goal. So in the case of being a celebrity, you're going to lose your potential, your privacy. Maybe your friends, your social circle is going to change. Maybe you get more other people in your life who aren't going to be the best people. So be aware that maybe you haven't achieved your goal because there could have been a sense of self-sabotage there. Now, once you become aware of that, you can then consider, what do I need to do to manage that conflict? How can I prioritize my privacy in the celebrity situation? How can I make sure that I keep my great quality of friends in that situation? Therefore, we're doing away with the unconscious doubts, and therefore we will not self-sabotage. And one of the big things for me, as always, is that we must take responsibility for where we are right now. And I say that in the greatest sense of wanting you to be happy. You see, when you take responsibility, you give up your reasons, you give up your excuses as to why you are like you are. Because if you think about that, if you think, oh, I'm like this because of that person, or because of the economy, or because of the work situation, or whatever it may have been, you're ultimately limiting yourself, and you're putting out all the control, all your ownership out on someone else or some circumstance. Now, in order to change that, we must assume the responsibility for where we are. And therefore, if we can take responsibility for this moment right now and allow the quality of our focus and our thoughts to be where we want to be, that becomes our new path, and those become the new suggestions to our unconscious mind. Remember that the evaluations, or let's put it clearly, the thoughts that you have, the quality of thoughts you have, your assumptions of what you think you are worth, or the quality of your goal becomes suggestions to your unconscious mind. They ultimately become your evaluations for where you're heading and what you're worth. So be clear that now is the time for you to really put your attention on yourself this year. What do you desire? What do you want on the inside of you, which will allow you to have the most wonderful world on the inner world of you and the external world of you? So remember that we must take responsibility. We must take ownership over our life if we want to change. And as we take ownership over it, it's so important that we begin to consider, what steps do I need to take? Now, you might not even know all the steps. I mean, not many people do. I know my business, I'm still learning about this. And I've talked about this. I've invested a lot of money into developing these free content, and I want to keep on giving lots of free. But in turn, I need to be able to figure out marketing to get more people on that, so that actually makes it not a loss on my part, because 90% of my time now is purely generated for free. So therefore, 10% of my time is monetizable. So therefore, I'm only getting paid for 10% of my working day. So I've got to really focus on marketing my apps, my free work, these videos, to reach more people, to actually make it consistent. So one of my steps is going to be, or like I was saying, I don't know all the steps yet, but I'm trying and doing my very best to learn as much as possible, especially at this time of year as I'm considering where I'm heading. I want to create action steps, or at least consider new things I can do every day or every week, which will move me closer to helping as many people as possible, while also being secure within myself and having the life that I desire. Because that's going to be important, because the happier I am in life, the more content I am, the more I'm happy to give. It's just one of those wonderful things. The more you look after yourself, the better you can give to others. So really, I want you to consider the type of action steps you could take. What kind of things could you do every day or every week to move you forward? One of the things that I personally do is take a good percentage out of my day to just focus on what I can do. Or to, like, maybe for example, in one of my previous videos, I said, you might want to cut out the TV for an hour a day or half hour. Turn it off and focus on what you can do, or use that time implementing what you desire to get the results that you want, to get the goals that you want. Because like all things, as we consider what our goals are, to be at peace with them so we're not self-sabotaging, we're taking ownership over our life, and now we're considering actions. all goals, everything that I've done personally has been because I've had to hustle. I've had to work really hard to get to help as many people as I can. And even when I was had low self-esteem, anxiety and blushing and so on, I had to do whatever I could to get to where I wanted to be. And in turn, as we take ownership, we must take massive and inspired action. So assume the feeling of having achieved your goal, to put yourself in a sense of drive and motivation, but then really take massive inspired action. Take your goal with conviction, really. Follow it through with momentum and drive in your behaviors. So the thoughts that you have in terms of your goal must be backed up with physical things or behaviors or actions that you can do. Because if you're just focusing on meditation or to acquire something in your life or to pull something into your life, it's not going to just work like that. Your quality of your thoughts must also have the actions combined with it, because when you have the positive thoughts with the taking action, you're moving forward all the time and you're learning from the past. Like I said, as we learn, we grow, and therefore we move forward with the actions that we're making. So be aware that your goal has to be something that you desire, and it's got to motivate with you. And remember this as well, that the frequency you're putting out and the quality of your thoughts will have to match your desired outcome. Now, if you're thinking, well, I want X amount of money, I want a relationship, or a certain type of relationship, or a new job, your thoughts have to match that frequency, because I really believe what you want wants you. What you want wants you. But you must match the frequency of desire, being deserving of it, being worthy of it, and really congruent that is what you want it, that it makes you feel good on the side as you try on imagining it. And as you do, you then send out that frequency in your thoughts, your feelings, and your behaviors, which will then allow you to move forward and be aligned in that goal. So remember to shift your frequency of the quality of the thoughts that you have to the desires that you actually want. Therefore, you're in alignment with them. Because if you're not, you're going to mismatch. You're going to get the thing that you don't want. So the quality of thoughts is very, very important. And the other thing is to consider being more you. Taking time out for yourself. Investing in yourself, in time, in really motivating yourself, actually praising yourself, because it's so important that we develop a self-esteem that serves us, because we can't rely on other people to make us feel good or to feel loved. It must come from our own heart, because when you love yourself, then therefore you're going to fully accept other people's love in your life as well. And that connection goes far deeper than you could ever imagine. So be aware that it's important to put yourself and serve yourself first. Because when you serve yourself first, then you're able to help more people because of that. You're able to want to do more. Very much like if I look after myself, I want to help more people because I'm in a good emotional, physical state. So it's one of those things like if you go onto a plane in case of emergency, you read it and it says, oh, if you have children, put the oxygen mask on yourself first before your children. And that's simply because you're no good if you're losing oxygen. But if you are oxygenated with life and looking after yourself, then you can actually help those in your life. In fact, the unconscious thing behind that is that you become the example of how you can help more people. And they see that. They see a real life example of a positive, empowered, well taken care of person. So therefore, they think, I want to be like that. So you're subconsciously giving them permission to really love themselves too. And therefore, they give more love. And therefore, we're always moving and always growing. Now, one thing which I've learned this year as well is that my physical health is so important to me. I neglected it for many years, and this year I've lost over about 16 pounds or so. And I've worked very hard in my diet and being conscious of the food that I'm putting into my body. Because it's so easy to get addicted to sugar. It's so easy to to have the comfort food or to distress. I mean, for me, I was working so hard that I had to have quick convenience. Now, it wasn't necessarily bad food, but it wasn't good food. It wasn't nourishing food. So it's important to look into that and be aware, be conscious of your diet. What are you feeding yourself? What are you nourishing yourself with? Because what you nourish yourself with, you're nourishing your brain as well. And that has an effect on your emotional well-being. And with that, exercise. That's one thing I've grown to love. I never used to like it, but now I enjoy going for a jog. I enjoy working out. I enjoy doing things like yoga or meditation. All these kind of activities make you want to do more, and you feel more energized to be more creative and to have more confidence in your body. So therefore, you are just heightening your frequency again. What you put into your body and what you're generating yourself for exercise will have a match on your quality of thoughts. And because of that, I've noticed my results greatly amplified by looking after my physical being as equal to my physical mind. And you don't have to go all out. You can just do bit by bit, even doing like 10 to 20 minutes every day or 5 times a week, going for a walk, then going for a jog, and then starting getting up to, well, the way I did it, I began to run, I couldn't even run like 500 meters or 300 meters without wanting to pass out. I began to do it bit by bit, and I began to grow into that. So before I knew it, now I've run 30 miles straight, or I've done some half marathons, and next year I've actually enrolled to do a marathon. And this marathon is actually on the Great Wall of China, which is it's a whole marathon, including over 5,000 steps. So that's going to be a huge challenge for me. And those type of goals, if I put a goal out there for me personally, it works, because it's like I've got this goal in mind, this marathon in this case, or a half marathon. And I think, well, that's one of my goals in life, and I'm going to make sure I work towards something. So whether you have an external goal like that, or just a physical goal of wanting to be emotionally happy, have that in your mind, and that will be helping you remain accountable. Now also realize that the quality of your connections will be also the quality of your state of mind. And I mean in that case that if you were hanging around with people who are disempowering you, or not in the same frequency of where you want to go, it is important to be conscious of that. Because if I just hung around with, say, alcoholics all the time, or depressed people all the time, biologically, subconsciously, you will begin to change your emotional state. Even if you're very positive people, over a period of time, you can do that. Now, I'm not saying to give up on people, but I am saying be conscious of the relationships you have, because they say the 5 closest people in your life are the sum of you, like the kind of sum of your qualities and where you're heading and what you want. So be conscious of the connections that you have with people. Be conscious of who you're surrounding yourself with. Are they empowering you, or are they disempowering you? And then you can make the right decision on you to either protect yourself or add more people into your life to actually help you grow as a person. Sometimes you do have to let go. Sometimes you have to cut loose. Sometimes we feel obligated to be connected with people where really we don't have to, but it's just an illusion that we create. Because we can create illusions in our mind. We can distort, delete, and generalize our life. We can create cages in our mind which we begin to live by. Even society, we can think we've got to be a certain way. We can only amount to something. If my dad's earned this amount, I can't earn more money than him because it'll make me feel bad. So we're almost building these subconscious cages in our mind of what we can and cannot do. Remember, and I heard this this year, don't break the law, just break the rules. And when you think about that, if you can break these down, these perceived rules that we have in our life in terms of how we should look, how we should act, how we should be, we're actually not being authentic. And I think the best way to live and love life is to be the authentic self and live life to your own personal song. When you do that in love, then people around you will change naturally, and also you'll attract those people into your life, those opportunities in your life to really get to where you want to be. So to really just close up, I want you to consider taking more responsibility for where you are, or maybe being conscious of those things you quite haven't taken responsibility, because I can do this as well. Sometimes, for example, something I'm working on is some emails that I get. I get emails occasionally saying, why don't I give all my stuff for free? And I'm thinking in my mind, I'm giving out over 100 hours for free, investing all this time and money, and people are thinking, just wanting more from me, or thinking I should do everything for free. And I'm thinking, wow, how am I going to eat? How am I going to pay my rent, or do the things I want to do in life? And sometimes it can bring you down. So we've got to take responsibility that we should not be dictated to like that. We have to realize sometimes it's other people's issues and it's not us. We must step back and really see the clarity. Am I doing the best that I can? Am I giving as much value as I can to others in my life or in the world, or even value to yourself? Because one thing, if I did take those few emails, here's how I am human. I get over hundreds and hundreds of awesome emails every day. And I love them, and I'm so full of praise and gratitude for those. It really inspires me. And then you get that one email saying, why don't you do all for free? Or why don't you give me this audio? Why won't you do this? Why won't you create this? Why didn't you reply within 10 minutes to my email? All these kind of things. Or maybe someone said about I'm too young, and all these things. For an instant you go, oh my God, what's happening here? And you forget about all the wonderful things that people are saying, or the wonderful things that you're personally doing in your life. So it's one of those things that I would like to myself just step back and learn from, to really kind of grow as a person and just be conscious. And I think that's one of the things I want to really finish on. As we go through life, we have these issues, we have these behaviors or these kind of symptoms in our life. And then suddenly, because they're just happening beneath the surface maybe, and before we know it, we've got this full blown out issue, because we then become conscious of what's happening in our life, and that's where we feel a little bit stuck. But after a while, as we begin to become conscious of it, we have to take action on it. Because when you become conscious of your desires, that even the symptoms or the issues in your life, you have then an opportunity to do it. Not many people in the world are conscious that something's not right. They think that it's normal to have anxiety or depression or fear or phobia, or to have bad relationships, to be used and abused, to have bad money relationships. Now, as you're waking up and being conscious of this, I want you to do that further as an ideal in my mind, to be conscious of where you are, where you're heading, and what you can do to grow as a person, to evolve as a person. Because when you become conscious of this, once you start to apply it in your life, that too becomes unconscious. It becomes like an unconscious autopilot to attract those things that you want in your life. When you become conscious of it with consistency, you're sending the signals to your unconscious mind, this is the new way of being. This is how I want to be in life. I want love, I want happiness, I want gratitude, I want excitement, I want experience, I want these type of people, I want this type of finances, this kind of job where I'm just loving it. As you become conscious of it and think about it, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and act upon it with massive inspired action, with conviction, you then send that signal to your unconscious mind. And as you do that, you truly begin to make changes. So keep on inspiring and aspiring to kind of grow as a person, because it is a journey. Things happen in life. And even if we let go of one issue, another one can pop up. And that's okay, because it's a challenge. It's something we can overcome. It's not a problem. It's not an issue. It's just something that we're learning to grow upon. If we've got anxiety, we have to ask, what do I need to learn here? What can I do to get better? It's not me. It's just a behavior that I'm running. And I can, in turn, take this decision today to make things happen and to really take responsibility for it and realize that that's not who I am. Whatever I am, I'm always more than that. That it's just simply a behavior that I've got which I can let go of. It's behavior I took on maybe as a child or in my adult life, but it's one I can also let go, because that's not the essence of who you are. The essence of who you are is awesomeness. It's of wonder, it's of joy, it's of love, it's for excitement, contentment, fulfillment, drive, ambition, whatever it is, you're all of that and always will be more than that at the same time. your pure energy just vibrating, and imagine where you can direct your energy. So I hope you've learned from this year. I hope you've got value from my videos or my audios, and I really want to carry on doing this. And I hope you can support me on this journey, because the more people know about it, the more I can do this, because it really is a numbers game, and it's something that I'm really passionate about, and it's something I'm going to make happen. So just know that I'm always supporting you in your journey, and I hope to give more and be more for you, and to really grow with you and helping you in any way that I can. So always know that you're loved, always know that you are able to achieve anything that you desire, because you're worthy and good enough. And in this moment is where everything happens. Right here, right now, this is where everything can happen. It's the start of everything, and you can begin to get everything that you desire, and you're worth it. So have a most wonderful Christmas, and I look forward to speaking to you in the new year. Many thanks and goodbye.